Okay, so everyone wakes up every day and has to look in their closet and pick out an outfit to wear. And whether your style is hipster or sleepy pajama look or high end Gucci, we all have fashion in our lives every day. And while it is true that fashion is a part of everyday's life, there are certain areas that are more prevalent in fashion than other areas. And one of the most iconic areas for this is Paris. And that is what I personally wanted to research because I've always been interested in how Paris became so prominent in the fashion industry. And so I used the website dw.com, culturetrip.com, and Wonderland magazine to find my sources for this. And I realized while researching this that while all of us have fashion everyday life, like I said, there are certain people who changed fashion for each of us, as well as changed fashion for Paris as a whole. And these three people are Coco Chanel, Christian Dior, and Yves Saint Laurent. Those are the three people that I really found most prevalent in not only fashions coming up, but Paris as an iconic industry because they all started out in Paris. Coco Chanel, she made modesty and class into women's fashion and showed people that you could wear looser clothes and still look beautiful. And Christian Dior, he gave elegance and glamour to fashion even after World War II. And Yves Saint Laurent brought ready to wear lines to not just Paris, that's where he originated them, but to the whole world because now they're used all over the world. The first of these people I wanted to talk about is Coco Chanel because I personally think that she is one of the most influential throughout all of Paris's come up and being an iconic industry throughout fashion. She is not just an idol to many artists, but to me personally. And how she became such a prevalent artist is because during her time she made looser trends and classier trends more popular, and she really showed people that you didn't have to have like a tight fitting corset to look good. And she did this by creating things such as the wearing a jersey. There were men at the time were the only people who wore jerseys, and they actually wore them as underwear. She did this by letting women wear these jerseys as an affordable and comfortable shirt, and that was just one way that she made um, minimalistic clothing more popular. She also, this was something I thought that was interesting that she did, she used sailor pants one summer as like a swimsuit type wear instead of bathing suits, which were what most women were accustomed to, and she made that trendy and popular, but it was also way looser and way more comfortable for women to wear as a whole. She also would like spice up her minimalistic clothing with costume jewelry and like big pearls to make it a little more fashionable and like glamorous with the modest type of clothing. So she was really a big influence throughout Paris, just in the fact that she made the whole like look of women's clothing a different but more comfortable and more affordable and more modest look to everybody, which I think was really more ideal for us now and for those women then. And so that's a big reason why she made fashion so popular. So as Chanel brought a glamour to modesty, Christian Dior brought a glamour back to fashion in Paris after the travesties of World War II. It was a hard time for fashion as a whole because it also specifically damaged the value of fashion had in Paris at the time. And Christian Dior was one of the people who brought this back. Dior really brought lavish costumes and amazing, elegant new fabric looks to the table. He brought things like pleats and embellishments, and they were a sign of the fact that the government really no longer had restrictions on materials, and fashion could be brought back in full length again, which was really awesome. His fashion was really just not just about what people were wearing, but like rather more about what they were symbolizing. And it was clothes that had the different fabrics and embellishments that I talked about that were showing people how much more independence they really had as a whole after the World War II and the times where they really didn't have that type of freedom to wear and do as they pleased. His new look of that time is not just relevant in that day because it even made a reappearance in today's time in certain aspects of not just Paris but America and other places all around the world as well. While Coco Chanel and Christian Dior brought new styles of fashion, Yves Saint Laurent, he brought a whole different um, type of way to create fashion, and that was really something that was different as well. So Yves Saint Laurent brought ready-to-wear lines to fashion, and he originated them in Paris, which is really something that I think made Paris one of the more iconic places of fashion in the world, because now they are used everywhere for most couture houses. They really bring a level of personality to couture houses, a level of communication between customer and salesman, and I think that is something that really hadn't quite been done before. He really gave Paris a name through this too, because the original ready-to-wear line boutiques were called Saint Laurent Rive Gavroche, and now they're being renamed Yves Saint Laurent Paris, which really shows that it was where he was in Paris that originated this and originated his ideas there. And I think that's something that um, makes Paris so amazing, because there's so many ways to create ideas such as this, as Yves Saint Laurent did during that time. As you can see, I mean, each one of these individuals really changed aspects of fashion in Paris and fashion as a whole. And Coco Chanel, Christian Dior, and Yves Saint Laurent, they did each of these in very different and specific ways that made everyone really see fashion as a true art in different ways, and Paris as a place of just truly to be looked up to, and to be a place to aspire to go to be a top tier fashion artist. And I mean, throughout all of this, I think each one of us can kind of recognize in different ways that whether, again, you're a fashion person or not, we do have some of our looks to really owe to them because of how they changed fashion throughout the world, and we definitely have a lot of looks that we should owe to Paris. And these individuals really just revolutionized fashion in the city of Paris and as a whole, and it's just remarkable.